This is Harris Sultan. The British government tells us that you should think before you post, okay? And based on that logic, they have become the country with most arrests for online comments. The United Kingdom has arrested twice as many as the Belarusian government, 12,183. Look who's at number 3, Germany, another bastion of Western liberal democracy. And look, China is actually below Germany and the United Kingdom and Russia. Evil Putin. I don't like Putin, by the way, at all. Putin, Turkey. Anyway, so you get the picture, yeah? So Keir Starmer just posted this. Have a look at this. I am delighted that Allah Ab Alta is back in the UK and has been reunited with his loved ones, who must be feeling profound relief. I want to pay tribute to Allah's family and to all those that have worked and campaigned for this moment. Allah's case has been a top priority for my government since we came to office. I am grateful to President Sisi for his decision to grant the pardon. Okay. Do you want to know who this Allah Abd al-Fattah is? This is who he is. Dear Zionists, please don't ever talk to me. I am a violent person who advocated the killing of all Zionists, including civilians, so fuck off. He also said, can we get back to killing Zionists, please? They seem to be more violent when we stick to non-violence. Moreover, he said also why from time to time I remind people that I rejoice when US soldiers are killed and support killing Zionists, even their civilians. He also said, dear international PhD student, by the way, I am a racist. I don't like white people, so piss off. Moreover, Al-Fattah also said, once again proves humanity will not be redeemed until we commit genocide against all white people. And in the brackets, he said, some of my best friends are white. What kind of a lunatic is this guy? So, because he's such a lunatic, he was arrested by the Egyptian government and he was in prison for 10 years and he was forgotten. He's a piece of shit. I don't care. Egypt, deal with your piece of shit. But his family was in the UK and his family didn't want to go live with him. So he came out in September this year or the year before, I don't know, irrelevant detail. But he wasn't allowed to come back to the UK. But guess what? His Muslim family, he has a little son and a wife and mother and whatever. They wouldn't go and live with their son in Egypt. That's how much they want to live in the UK. But at the same time, they hate it so much that they want to genocide all white people. I don't understand. Like, well, what am I missing? What am I missing? I think about it a lot. I really do. I try to get in their minds. And I even come from that culture, not Egyptian culture, but, you know, Muslim culture is pretty similar. I don't get it. I can't wrap my head around it. I can still understand the mind of an Islamist, these failed people, because they are a failure. They're angry. They're bitter because they haven't been able to subjugate the world as per their world order. It's the West. Long live USA. 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 They hate the USA and the West because it's the American world order that is ruling the world. That's what happens. When you lose a war, then you don't get to decide how the world is run. So I understand their mindset. They're angry, they're frustrated, it's not their world order, they feel humiliated, bad luck. But what I don't understand is the mind of lefty Western politicians like Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer, he wants to kill you and your entire family. He wants to genocide you. And you're still simping for him. Why? And have you actually seen the calls of prominent people like even Piers Morgan say that, oh, so what if the UK becomes a minority white country?
So the city of London is 36% white, and that's happened in the last, I don't know, 40 years.
But England is about 70% white.
England.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was 99% in 1945.
Okay, so we've evolved.
But you're on the way to becoming the minority in the country. So no one wants to say that. I think you can get arrested for saying that here.
Well, no,
that's not white supremacy. This is the indigenous population of the country.
Well, it's a statistical fact that I think by 2100, we will be a minority white country.
2063 as of today.
Well, I've read a bit later.
But these are dynamic numbers, so they change.
Yeah, but here's my question for you. So what?
No other culture is told to embrace their extinction. No other culture. It's only the white culture. After they've been battered, they've been humiliated, their culture has been taken away, their societies have been stripped off of their values, and now they are going extinct and they're being told, embrace your extinction. The United Kingdom, a country that has been around for 2,000 years, should just say, bad luck. Tower Hamlet belongs to Bengalis, parts of London belong to Muslims, parts of Bradford and Manchester and Birmingham, Lumrock, Muslims, just accept it. You're not allowed to say anything about it. You're racist. So pathetic, this word racist. There's another thing that I don't understand. How can people become afraid of the word racist more than the word rapist? It's like, I'm not going to talk about the rapist because the charge of racism is much worse. I can't live with the label of racist. So if people who are raping and pillaging and murdering and stabbing and trying to take over the society, I shouldn't talk about this. Because lo and behold, if I get called racist, then that's the end of the world for me. No, why? Why? First of all, I don't think it's a race issue. I think it's a cultural issue. I've said it before that race is the most visible phenotype. That's why we associate people's behavior with their race, but it's actually their culture that is making them behave in a certain manner. One of the best examples I always give, British Indians earn the most. They pay the most tax per capita, more than the white people. Pakistanis and Bengalis, on the other hand, are at the bottom, lower than the blacks. Why? Ethnically, Indians and Pakistanis are pretty similar. I'm Punjabi, and you have Punjab in India as well. So ethnically, you could say that I have an ethnicity which has been historically Indian, but thanks to the division of the Indian subcontinent, I fell on the Pakistani side. So ethnically, we're the same people because there's such a different culture in India. In India, they want their children to study, work hard, and make money. Muslims, on the other hand, is like, take over, make more babies, scrounge welfare. That's the cultural argument. That's the reason why. You have same ethnic people are at the top, and they're doing the same in America and in Australia, but similar people are on the other end of the spectrum just because they have a different culture. So it's not the race that's the problem here. It's always a culture. But as I said, because the race is the most visible phenotype, that's why we associate people's behaviors with their races. I think Nigel Farage spoke about this too. Let me show you what Nigel Farage had to say. This government just gets worse. No mention of these violent tweets on the BBC News story either. There you go. Oh, there's more. There are more gems of wisdom from this guy. Yes, I consider killing any colonialists and especially Zionists heroic. We need to kill more of them. He's not even mincing his words. He's literally using violent words. F that. Sounds like you need more fear. Random shooting of white males should convince them racism costs lives. How is that not racism? I mean, what is this? What is this? And this pathetic prime minister, I think Anthony Albanese is the worst prime minister in Australian history. And I also think that Keir Starmer is the worst prime minister in British history, going all the way back to Sir Robert Walpole, I think his name was. And you've had like, I don't know, something like 70, 80 prime ministers in the meantime. Yeah, going all the way. Even worse than the prime minister who lost the United States. It's so bad. It's so pathetic. Oh, there's some more. Look at this. There's so many of them. So the brilliant British dogs and monkeys really think terrorists will reveal their plans on Twitter. British fooled us and gave us bad land. We then exploited Egyptian Falashin to work the land for peanuts. See, he hates the British government. He hates everything about Britain, yet wants to live in Britain. Bring back treason laws. And check out the coverage of the BBC. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Let me show you this. The British Egyptian writer and pro-democracy activist. Look, harmless, smiling photo. You can't believe this is the same guy who posted those tweets that I just showed you earlier. Allah Abdel has arrived in the UK after a travel ban imposed by the Egyptian authorities was lifted. Sisi was right to arrest this extremist. And look who's safeguarding them. Look who's protecting them. It's the Tories, by the way. The Tories fast-tracked his UK citizenship so they could demand the Egyptian government to hand him back to the UK. Look at the BBC's coverage. This is the guy. This was on 23rd of September 2025, so they kept it under wraps for a while. This is the guy who wants to genocide white people. His words, not mine. Just look at the two-tier policing in the UK. So on the left, you have the comedian, Graham Linehan. He was arrested by armed officer at a London airport months after posting online comments about transgender people. Very benign comments. Reason for jokingly making comments about trans people. Our eternal right to mock ideas. Now, the guy on the right, a British Egyptian activist, was arrested in Egypt in 2021 for his extremely racist views. If you want to know what a ticking time bomb looks like, it's him. He's been talking about genociding, committing violence against ordinary civilians. He's been praising terrorist attacks as explicitly as one can. Didn't even bother to put any filter on. He has previously described Zionism as a crime against humanity. That's a much lower charge as the list of things he said. And made statements endorsing violence against white men. The British government has repeatedly lobbied Egypt for his release and return to the UK, and they have obviously succeeded. Have a look at this. Keir Starmer has been trying to get him freed for many years. This happened in November 2022, so he must have known. He must have been briefed at some point. But have a listen to what he has to say. This is absolutely hilarious. What a hypocrite. If hypocrisy had a face, this is it.
And can I start by raising the case of Allah Ab Alta? Yeah. As the Prime Minister knows and has said, he's a British citizen, jailed for the crime of posting on social media.
Ooh, he's jailed for the crime of posting on social media. Ooh, what a wanker, seriously. Under him, let me show you something, okay? This is my favorite stat. United Kingdom leads the countries when it comes to arresting people for the crime of posting on social media, which he was saying as some cardinal sin in a speech in 2022. When he came to power, look at this. Look at this. The United Kingdom has arrested twice as many people as Belarus. Look, Germany's there too. Another shining example of liberal democracies. China only 1,500. Who says China is an authoritarian state?
And been imprisoned in Egypt for most of the last 9 years.
Oh.
He's been on hunger strike for the last 6 months.
He hasn't died.
Now, the Prime Minister just said that he raised it with President Sisi. Can he tell us what progress he made in securing Allah's release?
By the way, it was the Tories who fast-tracked his UK citizenship. It was the Tories who had been trying to get him out of Egypt. So they're both just as bad as each other and shouldn't have done it. And moreover, he wasn't just posting in English shamelessly. He was also posting it in Arabic. Let me quote what he said. If we can't kill the officers, let us find a terrorist cell to kill their children and torture their mothers. This guy's totally unhinged. Drew is saying Egypt was actually 100% right to lock this guy up. Sisi was a lion. Sorry, Sisi. So Western governments, with their holier-than-thou attitude, going to countries like Egypt or the UAE or Saudi Arabia and try to lecture them on human rights, they're doing it better than you can. Leave it to them. They know these people. This is not edgy. This is not left versus right. This is not an internal debate between two different policies. This is a civilisational threat. I believe that we need to bring back treason laws. If you say death to Australia, if you burn the Australian flag, you're going to prison for 15 years. And if you have dual nationality, you're being deported. If you don't like this country, we don't have to host you. We don't have to. If we don't take these measures now, we're going to see a sharp rise in far-right extremism. It's going to happen. That's exactly what's happening in Britain. Britain is at the cusp of civil war.
You guys, I need to talk to you about something super serious, and it's this right here. Like, burning the American flag. It's just, wallahi, it's a beautiful sight, but it's not enough. We need to burn down every capitalist and imperialist system that exists. We need to burn the US government, aka global terrorist organization, down to the fucking ground. We can no longer allow the worst, most violent, evil, disgusting people to lead us, because they're going to continue making the world a waking nightmare for everybody. So go ahead and keep burning the disgusting, blood-stained, genocidal, shitty United States flag that was created by slave owners. I could give two shits, but also make sure you're doing your part to dismantle all of the systems that make all of these atrocities in the world possible. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Death to America. Bring back treason laws. Sorry. I know America has a different view towards free speech. Free speech should work within a system. You cannot give free speech to people who want to overthrow the US Constitution or the US government. It's the same with these people who want to overthrow the Australian Constitution or the Australian government or the statehood of Australia. We cannot give them any rights, let alone free speech right. Any right. No rights can be given to you. The only right you have is to shut up and go to prison for a very long time. That's the only right we need to give them. So our governments are forcing us to change our way of life, but not taking any action against these people, the Islamists and far left extremists. I've said it before, Germany was known for its Christmas markets. There are barely any Christmas markets anymore. Just this year, they've foiled 2 terrorist attacks, killing children who were just there to eat vanilla ice cream. Except for a few big ones, there are almost no Christmas markets left in Germany. That is a direct impact on the German way of life. They've changed it beyond recognition. And you are still told to embrace multiculturalism. People were happy to embrace multiculturalism until the Islamists showed up. The second and third generation is worse. Like I showed you about this guy, this Egyptian guy. Look at him. Look at the venom that they spew out. Something's got to give. It cannot go on like this. Look at this. Look at these provocations. This happened in Manchester. Charlie Veach confronted this Muslim. There's a Christmas market taking place, and these Muslims are playing Islamic recitations. Why? What business do you have? Why are you provoking people?
Perhaps it's disrespectful. Perhaps it's a show of force. All right, can I just say one thing, one question, and then I'll why are you disrespecting Christmas by playing Islamic recitals? We are, but this is a Christmas market. Come on. You've got the whole city. Alhamdulillah. Look, I don't hate Muslims. How can I hate? You hate Christians. Maybe you hate Christians.
Don't say that. You don't have to tell them that, oh, no, I don't hate Muslims. No, none of it. It's a clear diversion. Fuck it. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care. You hate Christians. Why are you doing this? Why are you blaring your stupid Quranic recitations at a Christmas market? Why? Why? You don't see me go to a mosque and start blaring Christian hymns or Christian songs. Christians don't do that. And I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in Christianity, but I can clearly see that this is BS. Why? And in Britain, they arrest Christian street preachers, but they don't do anything to these Muslims. Look at this Muslim woman.
Hör inte hemma här. Har jag sagt till dig att jag hör hemma här? Det är därför jag förstör och stör så mycket jag kan. Och utnyttjar era skattepengar. På alla förmåner som man kan ha här som svensk medborgare. Jag utnyttjar det till max. Till max utnyttjar jag det. Och ni kan inte ens göra någonting åt det. Hör inte hemma.
Oh my goodness, let me read it to you. To saying, I don't belong here. I have not told you I belong here. That's why I destroy and take so much I can and collect all your tax money, all benefits that you can get here in Sweden. I use it to the max, and you can't do anything about it. It's a massive welfare scam everywhere, every single country you look at. I've seen it here in Australia. These Afghans, Pakistanis, so many people. Our tax dollars are being taken from us so we can, first of all, subsidize their lifestyle, and then eventually they can replace us. Anything that I want to get done, I put up on Airtasker. Like, for example, I had this trampoline that I wanted to assemble. Yes, I'm lazy. I couldn't be bothered doing it myself. I put it up on Airtasker. Airtasker is our Craigslist. And there were so many replies from Indians, and they were offering to do it for $100, even $75. I know it's like a 3-hour job, 4-hour job. And all the white tradies, they were asking for $400 or $500. I actually chose a $500 one, but why would anyone pick a $500 one when you can get one for $100 or $150? Why? So this is what they do. They first flood the market with cheap labor. They ruin their own lifestyle. And then they say, oh, white people don't want to do these menial jobs. I'm seeing how jobs are being taken away because the Australian government has flooded the Australian labor market with cheap labor from third world countries. Why? I just don't understand why. These tradies are going out of business. Up.